Good to see you. Let's see if Mike.
Can you hear me in English channel?
Yeah.
Dear Sumati, can you hear me in English channel?
Yeah.
Yes, sorry, this is my first time when I'm trying to switch channels, so I needed to check. Thank you. Okay.
Well. Let's go. We'll go ahead and make the mudra for the mandala. Sashi Puki Jukshin Meto Trong Rira Blingshi Ninde Gimpadi Sange Shindu Mikte Owarki Rokun Namdak Shingla Chuparsho Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayame Sange Chudong Zoki Choknama Chanchu Bardu Dakni Katsuchi Daki Jinso Kipe Sunam Ki Rola Penchir Sange Drupa Sange Chudong Daki Sange Chudang Zoki Chognama Shanchu Purdu Dakni Katsuki Daki You all right? Is everybody hearing? Yeah? No?
Sometimes we can hear you very good, but sometimes the sound goes away and I can't hear anything.
Sometimes your voice is missing. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I think I have it selected. Yeah. Here we go. How about now? Much better? Natalia, you hear me okay?
It is better. It is not very loud, but now I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, I was on the wrong microphone. It's only computers are only as good as the person using them. In this case, not so good. So, okay, let's do some rejoicing. It's hard to believe we've made it through another course. Seems to go by very quickly. So let's start with rejoicing. Let's go with Svetlana. What do you have to rejoice about today?
I'm rejoicing about that. I have sent a data report to my colleague and provided him with necessary information and included the details and years. So it's like extensive data. So in the future, I can receive also thorough, best detailed information, which will be necessary for me.
Good, good. Excellent. Well, you're setting the seeds for what you need to have happen in the future, and that's what this is all about. That's the bottom line to any of the classes and any of the studying we're doing. Okay, who's next? Let's go. Tatiana, what do you have to rejoice about?
Добрый вечер.
Good evening.
Я помогла сегодня провести встречу в группе благотворителей Голд-клуба.
Today I helped to make
Медитацию. И я очень
a
рада
meeting
за
in the group
чтобы
Gold Club. We made a meditation together,
повысить свой доход, и у всех
and I dedicated it
помогает
to
LL.
the goal to make a bigger income and to be able to help Gold Club.
Была сегодня модератором, волонтерила.
And I was I worked as a volunteer moderator in this meeting today.
Very good, very good. I really wish I had multiple language capabilities, but I took French in high school and just got good enough grades to be allowed to play basketball. So I can barely speak English. So it really impresses, especially with people. I think English must be very difficult to learn. But anyway, congratulations. Okay, Daria, you're up. What do you have to rejoice about?
All right, and now I'm interested in learning to enjoy with your teacher. You study us how is Jews.
You can say it in Russian if it's easier for you. I don't mind.
No, I study English and I tried. Studying, yeah. And today I helped my colleagues in chat, and we help Dr. Wu. It's about Buddha medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And we help all organization in the ceremony.
Oh, good, good. That's setting the seeds to have the teachings you want in the future. And that's a very powerful rejoicing. So good, very good. Okay, Katerina, you're up next.
Добрый вечер. Я радуюсь,
Good evening.
я не знаю, как в других странах, в России.
I don't know as in other countries, but today in Russia we're celebrating Teachers' Day. My mother is a teacher.
Oh, good.
I also help my children to make some presents for their teachers at school. And I'm rejoicing for having teachers in my life. And I also congratulate you being our teacher. Please stay in our life.
Oh, well, that's my plan. How old are your children? I can't hear you.
У меня двое детей, сыну 10 и дочке
I have 2 children. My son has
7.
my daughter is 7 years old and my son is 10 years old.
Wow. Wow. Well, nice. Nice. Okay. Who's left? Tatiana, Svetlana, did you rejoice yet? Yeah? Okay. Well, it's my turn then. Let's see, what can I rejoice about since Monday's class? Oh, that was before my hematology appointment. So my hematologist, the blood health of my blood system doctor, is very happy with me. I've lost 10 pounds, so he's concerned. I never met a cookie I didn't like. And over Christmas, I had a few too many cookies, so I tried to lose some of that weight and have done so. So he's pretty happy. All my doctors, I had appointments for the last 2 weeks with all my doctors. They're quite happy with me, so that's a good thing. But what am I rejoicing in for? Setting the future. Oh, my publisher wanted me to, I wasn't clear from my publisher whether I was supposed to get reviewers for my latest book. And so I went ahead and did that. And so far, 2 of the reviewers have sent in reviews, which apparently are quite good. So I think the publisher is going to go ahead and accept my book for getting published. So I rejoice in that. But how does that set my future? Well, I made a decision to go ahead and do that without asking the publisher, and it turned out it was the right decision. So sometimes based on a little bit of information, you just have to go ahead and make a decision. And that's a tough call. But what else? Oh, we have a friend who's staying with us, who's we need to get back to Britain. So we're working hard on trying to get him up, his health up to where he can fly. It's going to be difficult, but it's fun having him, and we're setting the seeds by helping him because he's got heart problems and it's a little hard for him to get around. We're setting the seeds for when my Parkinson's gets to the point where I need help, we'll have the resources and the people to help me. So that's very powerful practice. We're both feel very fortunate to have the opportunity to help David. It's a little complicated because his name's David and my name's David. So when my wife says David, we both look and see if we're in trouble. So, okay. Well, I'm not sure why Mike isn't here, but let's go ahead and start the review. Mike had the first question. So since he's not here, I'll take his role. First question, give a brief definition of the perfection of wisdom. The definition is the knowledge of a person of the greater way with which they perceive emptiness and which is imbued with the wish for enlightenment, or bodhicitta. And every time we see bodhicitta, every time we see the term bodhicitta, especially in ACI, we need to remember which hat we have. Is it Mahayana bodhicitta or just regular bodhicitta? So regular bodhicitta is the wish for enlightenment, but Mahayana bodhicitta is wish for enlightenment for all sentient, all living beings. Now, elsewhere you'll see this, as I've said before, elsewhere you'll see this, and it means for all living beings. But in the ACI context, it never hurts to say Mahayana bodhicitta, because you'll never be wrong saying that. Okay, number two. Who's number two? Tatiana, you've got number two.
Мне читать вопрос или не нужно?
Do I need to read the question?
Yes, please.
Коренным текстом для нашего изучения совершенства мудрости является орнамент осознаний.
The root text
Эту работу и кому? Какова предполагаемая дата этой работы? Коренным
which is
текстом нашего изучения
I'll tell you what,
мудрости.
I'll read the question and then you give me the answer. That'll be easier. So I'll read the question.
okay.
Я вопрос
The root
читаю.
text for our study of the perfection of wisdom is the Ornament of Realization. Who spoke this work and to whom?
Можно отвечать?
What is the estimated date of the work? Okay, now. The answer.
Коренной текст орнамент
The root text Ornament of Realizations was given by Lord Maitreya to the Master Sangha, who lived near 350 AD.
Good. And the Sanskrit name is Abhishamaya Alamkara. Okay. Number three. Who's got number three? Number three is Daria. So I'll read the question. Who wrote the early Indian commentary on the ornament that forms the basis for our study? And what are his dates? Who wrote the Tibetan monastic commentary? And what are his dates?
Okay, the early Indian commentary we're studying in Master Haribhardoi.
In the name? The clarification of meaning.
Clarification of meaning.
Right. And Master Hari Bahadra, 1850.
1850.
Yes. Okay. Let's go with
Sanskrit name Master Haribharta. Tibetan name Lopun Senge Sangpo. And the Tibetan commentary is Kendrup Tenpa Dragpai. Dargye. It's 1493, 1568.
Okay.
It's analysis of the perfection of wisdom.
Good. Okay, number four. Let's see who's got number four. Katerina, number four. Give the definition of the Dharma jewel and give one example each of a cessation and a path.
Драгоценность Дharma — это истина или вид реальности, который относится к просветленной стороне.
A truth or kind of reality that refers to the great path and the enlightened side of the four truths of Arya, and also includes cessation or the path. Example of the cessation. The jewel of Dharma is seeing the emptiness directly when all the doubts stopped. about what Buddhism says to us. And when this seeing stops, we remember it. And example of the path is the path of accumulation.
Okay. So the important thing with the cessation is that it stops completely. It's not kind of stopped. When you have a cessation, it stops. So if you have a cessation for not drinking alcohol anymore, you never drink alcohol again. If you do, it's not a cessation. Cessation means that's it, never again. So in this case, after you've seen emptiness directly, you'll never doubt the principles of Buddhism again, never. Okay, question number 5 is Svetlana. Okay, give a definition of taking refuge.
Yes, taking refuge means that we are putting all our hopes to another object which can help us, really can help us in an ultimate way. Like a state of mind in which of your own accord you put all your hopes into some other object to be of assistance to you. In Tibetan, Hyamtro.
Good. So I think of taking refuge. You're taking refuge in karma and emptiness, and the belief in karma and emptiness, and the belief in past and future lives, and why it's so important in this life to behave in a manner that's going to create the world you want, both in this life and the next. And there's a lot of debate about how most of what you do in this life karmically is going to ripen in the next life or lives after that. Karma can ripen in this life, the next life, or in any future life. I think we need to be careful and look out for ripening in this life. And that's happened to me over the last 3 or 4 months. I've had several instances where I think I've had the ripening in this life of something I've done just a little bit earlier in this life. So never discount that. Whenever something good happens, you know it's coming from your karma. It could be from a past life, could be from this life. So to me, it means do all the good you can in this life because it could ripen in this life. We have a lottery now that's up to $1 billion for a lottery ticket. I'm really tempted to go play the lottery. The things I could do with $1 billion would be fantastic. So now I just have to decide whether I'm going to do it or not. Okay, let's see, number 6, that's Mike. I don't know what happened to Mike, but I'll take number 6. Describe the taking of refuge which is shared with practitioners of a lesser scope. First, you feel a personal fear that you'll be reborn in one of the births of misery, in one of the lower births, preta, animal, or hell. Second, you believe the 3 jewels can protect you. And finally, you hope that one or more of the 3 jewels will be able to protect you from these sufferings. I see the taking, well, I guess my answer would be a little bit different. The taking of refuge, which is shared with practitioners of the lesser scope, is, to me, is the not committing the 10 non-virtues, because you don't want to be reborn in the lower realms. So they take the 10 non-virtues as their guide throughout life, not killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. Oh boy, I'm spacing on them now. killings, not killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, harsh words, useless talk. Well, that's embarrassing. Who can give me the 10 virtues, 10 non-virtues? Killing, not killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, harsh words, useless talk. Boy, that's embarrassing. Oh well, some days are better than others. No, hang on a minute.
Четыре притчи, не лгать, не
Okay,
говорить.
here we go. The 10 non-virtues: killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive talk, harsh words, useless talk, craving, ill will, and wrong view. If you can keep, that's something that we really need to focus our attention on, because that's, to me, that's the basis of our practice. So the lesser scope individual uses those 10 non-virtues to try and stay out of the lower realms. They don't aspire to bodhicitta. They don't have an understanding of bodhicitta, because that's a more advanced practice. And the very important thing to remember when we talk about lesser or medium or greater scope, lesser scope doesn't mean they're lesser people. Doesn't mean they should be looked down on. Lesser scope means they're doing what they can at their capacity. It's really important to remember that. We never, in our practice, we're never looking down on people and thinking they're of less value. Because in Buddhism, they have something called the lesser and the greater vehicle. And that refers to the load that you can carry. So the lesser vehicle, they're doing the best they can at the capacity they have. Whereas the greater vehicle is trying to encompass all living beings. And that's a great burden. And some people can't do that, don't have the capacity. And it doesn't make them a lesser person. It means they're working at their capacity. So it's really important to remember that. Okay. That was number 6. Number 7, Tatiana, give the detailed definition of the greater ways wish for enlightenment. No, boy, that's a long answer.
Желание просветления большего пути – это
Desire of the enlightenment of the greater way is
основная
basic
основная ментальная осознанность,
mental awareness
относящаяся к большему
belonging to the greater path,
сфокусированная на достижении
focused on attaining full enlightenment for the benefit of others,
и совпадающая с состоянием
And
ума, связанным
coinciding with a state of mind associated with it,
с стремлением достигнуть полного просветления.
with aspiration to attain full enlightenment.
Во-вторых, знание,
Secondly,
принадлежащее
it is
высшему пути,
the knowledge belonging to the greater path,
которое действует как двери,
which
ведущие к
acts
высшему пути,
as the doors leading to the greater way,
и которое включено в сферу деятельности
and which is included in the sphere of activity
в стандартном разделении понятий видение и деятельность.
in the standard separation of the concepts of seeing and activity. Oh, well, this is my translation. No.
Well, I like the shorter version myself. The wish to achieve total enlightenment for the sake of others. That's the one I remember. Okay, let's see, that was number 7. Number 8, Daria. Describe the 2 types of the wish for enlightenment.
Okay, I say short form.
Yes.
Yeah. First, desire in the form of intention. And second, desire in the form of action.
Right. So intention, we all want to help other beings deep down inside, and that's wonderful, and that's necessary. But the way to really make the progress on our path, we've got to take it from a wish and put it in the form of action. So the action form is carrying out what are called the 6 perfections. The wish for enlightenment is just kind of, oh, I like every, well, here's an example. I wish the war in Ukraine would be over. That's admirable. That's good. That sets some good seeds. But to do something about it, the action form, I not only wish it is over, I want to do something about it. So it's my karma to see the war in Ukraine. It's my karma to see the fires in Hawaii, the terrible drought and famine in Yemen and Somalia, the floods in Pakistan. That's my karma. So what do I need to do to stop having that karma, to stop making that kind of karma? So that's a very individual thing. Can I do something about stopping the war in Ukraine? I don't know, but I can certainly try and make sure that I appreciate other people's view, that I don't cause conflict amongst my friends. I don't get angry, because Ukraine is, in many ways, are governments that are angry at each other. So you say to yourself, how can I possibly stop the war in Ukraine? By not getting angry at others, how can that really make a difference? Well, it can, it will, and by your not getting mad, you're setting the seeds for in the future not see this kind of conflict. It seems improbable, but in my mind, it's true. Now, I have a problem with getting angry at myself. So I get mad mentally when I get frustrated because I can't do something, since my dexterity is bad with my tremor. I get mad at myself. Movement of the mind is what makes karma. So even though I'm not mad at my wife or at somebody else, I'm mad at myself. So I'm still setting the seeds to see anger in the future, conflict in the future. So I have to be very careful not to get angry at myself, which is getting harder and harder in many ways, because I have virtually no grip strength in my left hand. And when I try and eat, the food gets about this far close to my mouth and it starts to go everywhere. So how can you stop something like that? Don't get angry at people. For in case of Maui and the fire, be careful with how you interact with the environment. In the case of the drought in Yemen, be careful how you use water. So, okay, in Moscow, there's plenty of fresh water. Who cares? But that's your karma ripening now. In the future, if you want there to be water in your city, you have to conserve water now. It's hard to do because there seems to be an abundance, and there is an abundance, and that's coming from what you're being generous in the past. So this can sound depressing, but don't look at it that way. Look at it as a puzzle or a game, and you're in control because you know how the rules work. And you can set the seeds for what your future is going to be. I find that very empowering. It's up to me how the world's going to be in the future. So I need to take the effort to make the world the way I want it to be. Okay, so which one was that? That was 8. Yeah. Okay, number 9. Number 9 is Katerina.
Вопрос, дайте определение нирваны.
Give the definition of nirvana.
No, I'm sorry, I was supposed to read that.
Nirvana is the
Устранил препятствия в виде ментальных омрачений во всей их полноте, благодаря своему индивидуальному анализу.
Nirvana is
Это когда
Nirvana is the final ultimate cessation in which a person stopped all the obstacles in the form of mental afflictions due to the individual analysis.
Right. Now, this is interesting. When you reach nirvana, you still have bad things happen to you because that's karma ripening, but you don't react to it. The cessation of the mental afflictions of reacting ignorantly. So when we talk about nirvana, it could, in one sense, it could be very pleasant, but you still have negative karma ripening. So I'm not sure how pleasant it would be, but you're not reacting. One, to eliminate the mental affliction obstacles to your total enlightenment due to the understanding of the 4 Arya truths. So what are the 4 Arya truths? The 4 Arya truths, and we say Arya because noble truth seems to reflect nobility, kings and queens and things like that. And Geshe likes noble truths because that's what you see when you come out of the direct perception of emptiness. So there's suffering, there is a cause of suffering, there's a way to end the suffering, and there's a path to ending the suffering. Very powerful. And we know that, and we know how to get it started, and that's our goal from now on. No, I just answered question 10. Who's the lucky person? Question 10. Svetlana. What does individual analysis mean?
Yes, it refers to individual details of realizations of 4 Arya truths. So after the direct perception of emptiness, those individual details of the 4 Arya truths are referring to individual analysis.
Right. Okay. No, I'm not going to answer number 11. Who's number 11? That's me. Oh, yes, I am going to answer number 11. Describe the difference in this school, the Madhyamika Tantrika, between nirvana with something left over and nirvana with nothing left over. Nirvana with something left over means that you have achieved nirvana, but still possess a body that was produced by impure karma. Nirvana with nothing left over means that you've achieved nirvana and no longer possess such a body. Now, the details of that to me are not very clear. So a body produced by impure karma would mean a suffering human body. Nirvana with nothing left over, you've achieved nirvana, no longer possess a suffering human body. So it doesn't mean you don't have a body, it just means you're not suffering anymore because you're not, well, it's interesting because we just talked about how you still have nasty karma ripening, but you're not reacting to it. So I think what this means for me is that when I reach that stage, I will be suffering in the sense that unpleasant karma will be ripening, but I won't be suffering in the sense that I'm not responding to it ignorantly. I'm not responding to it and setting the stage for future karma to ripen. Okay, number 12. Number 12, Tatiana. There's a kind of nirvana called nirvana which does not stay. What is the meaning of the phrase does not stay?
Это выражение описывает нирвану полностью просветленного существа.
This phrase describes the nirvana of the completely enlightened being,
которая не остается ни в крайности цикличной жизни,
which doesn't stay in the extreme of the cyclic life.
это та жизнь, в которой мы сейчас находимся.
It means the life in which we are now,
Ни в крайности покоя,
and neither in the extreme of peace or calmness,
что означает нирвану более низкого пути хинаяна.
which means the nirvana of the lower way, Hinayana,
Right.
Где человек устранил ментальные омрачения навсегда,
where a person stopped all the mental afflictions forever,
But the Hinayana doesn't.
но не достиг полного просветления.
but didn't reach the full enlightenment.
Right. Because they're concerned about eliminating their mental afflictions, but not on how they can help others. And again, does that make that person a terrible person? No. Because eventually, from what Geshe Michael says, eventually they realize that they need to go for total bodhicitta, total enlightenment. It's a step on the path. And every step on the path is an important positive achievement. So it may take a lesser scope person or medium scope person. They're not up to speed. They're on their way, and there's never a reason to think that that's of lesser importance, because we're all on our way. It makes us all practitioners that are trying to achieve our total enlightenment. And the fact that we're on the path makes it very positive and very important. It's like, what's a good example? Well, it'd be like someone No, that's not good. What's a good example? Well, here's kind of a silly example. So you're trying to teach someone how, you know what a frisbee is? The disc that you throw? A frisbee. I can't throw a frisbee worth beans, but I have a good friend who plays ultimate frisbee. So he had to learn, he had to go through not throwing a frisbee well to throwing it very well. But he had to go through the stage of not being able to do it. So all of us have to go through the stage of not being very good at our Buddhist practice. But the only way we'll get good at our Buddhist practice is not getting discouraged, not thinking we're lesser, but we're on the path. So we should always think of lesser, medium, greater scope. All those people are on the path, and they're proceeding at the pace that they can achieve. The fact that they're on the path is the important thing, not where they are on the path. Okay. Describe 13. Daria, describe the three main parts of the method for achieving nirvana.
Okay, first part, the knowledge of wisdom. It's become a master of exceptional wisdom training. It's first. Okay, second, of the observance of morality and meditation concentration.
Right.
And third part, it's thoroughly understanding the vision of emptiness that has already occurred. Yeah.
Right. So to achieve nirvana, right now for me, I haven't had the direct perception of emptiness. So I'm trying to become a master of the extraordinary training of wisdom. And that is imbued with morality and meditative concentration. And hopefully that will lead to me becoming extremely familiar with the realizations of emptiness, the four Arya truths that I can put into practice in my life. The three extraordinary trainings, though, are the basis for that. Okay, number 14 is Katerina. Why is it important to identify the object that we deny?
Katerina, she's connecting. Yes, Katerina, it's your turn.
Where'd she go? There she is.
Я здесь. Так, следующий вопрос, да? Почему важно распознать объект, который мы отрицаем? Другими словами, мы можем сказать гакча или самосуществующий объект.
We can name it Gakcha or self-existing object.
Okay, why is it important that we identify it?
Потому что если мы не представляем, как выглядит самосуществующий объект, если бы он существовал в самом деле, тогда из этого мы не сможем осознать пустоту.
If we don't know what a self-existent object would look like, if it really existed, then we can never
Пустота — это отсутствие чего-то. Если мы не понимаем, что именно там отсутствует, то мы не можем осознать, что такое пустота.
she continued to talk. That's why I needed to stop translating. We can never realize emptiness. Can never realize emptiness since it consists in the absence of this non-existing thing. So it could help us to understand the emptiness. Katerina said that it could help us to understand emptiness.
Что мы называем его объект, который мы отрицаем, что он не может существовать. Самосуществующий объект.
We deny the object that couldn't exist because he is a self-existing object.
Right, and the difficulty in this is we define what a self-existing object would be, but there's no such thing as a self-existent object. So it's hard to imagine it. Well, everything we see, everything I see the computer screen, I see all of you. I study the fact that it's not self-existent. I can define why it's not self-existent, but I still see it as self-existent. And that's the magic of seeing emptiness directly. But after you've seen emptiness directly, you still see things as self-existent, but you know they aren't. So the challenge is for those of us that have not seen emptiness directly, is to remember that nothing is self-existent. Nothing. Even the way to cut pancakes and French toast. Even my sense of humor. As much as I think it's self-existent, it isn't. So, can I describe a self-existent thing? No. Not really. Yet everything around me appears to be self-existent. So the key for this is just to remember it's all your karma. Your karma ripens, then you see it, everything. When you catch yourself, and you will catch, I still catch myself saying it's my karma, but instead of saying it's my karma, so because it's my karma, I need to do this, I need to do that, instead of saying it's my karma, but maybe I don't need to do this. So catch yourself. Okay, 15. Who's got 15? Svetlana.
Yes.
Are we on 15? Yeah. Oh, that's a nice short one. Okay, explain the three different perceptions of the three different people in the metaphor of the magic show. Who are the three types of real people these three represent?
Well, in ancient India, there were some outdoors shows where a magician put a stick and then he made some secret words, put some cast on it, and then those people who are around, spectators, they perceive like a horse or a cow, and the magician looking at this stick also see it as a horse or a cow, but he knows that it's a stick. And if there is some pedestrians, some nearby people who didn't hear this cast, and they're like walking around, they will look at this stick and will see just a stick. They will not see a cow or a horse, because they are not under an influence of those words which were pronounced by the magician. So it refers to three types of beings like spectators. It's about ordinary people like Sosokhebo who are believing in self-existing things, and we are thinking that these things around are existing self-existently. So spectators are perceiving that there is a horse or cow. And the magician is a person who was in direct perception of emptiness. So he understands that all things do not possess any nature of its own, but it stays on the intellectual level, like not intellectual level, but by remembering those experiences. So he does not perceive it directly. He knows it's not a cow or horse that it's stick. He knows that things do not have self-existent nature, but still it appears to him in the old manner. And the people who are walking around, who are perceiving it as a stick, it's like not Buddhas, but those people who are in direct perception of emptiness. So they understand that things do not have self-existent nature and are perceiving it directly.
Very good. That's a tough one. Good. Okay, number 16 is me. Write out the reasoning called the emptiness of one or many. Consider the three knowledges. They don't exist truly because they neither exist truly as one thing or as many things. They are, for example, like a reflection in a mirror. So if you see the word exist truly, it's the same as saying things exist really. And both of them say, really mean you're saying things are self-existent. So consider the three kinds of knowledge. They don't exist self-existently because they neither exist self-existently as one thing, nor do they exist self-existently as many things. They don't exist self-existently at all. But things are either singular or plural. So if they don't exist at all, they don't exist singularly, or they don't exist as many. It seems like a silly proof in many ways, but it's an example of the concept of Buddhist logic, and that's what's used in the debate ground. Course 13 is an exhaustive look at debate. My lovely wife is very good at debate. She's actually really fun to watch when she gets going on a debate. I'm not so good. But she really gets, when she slaps, she comes at me and just starts to hammer me. It's really very cute. Oh, my wife's cute, so anything she does is cute. Okay, 17. 17 is Tatiana. Why is it true that if something has parts, it cannot exist? No, it cannot be one thing that really exists.
Мне бы познакомиться с женой досточтимого ламы Сумати.
I would like to get to know your wife, dear Lama Sumati,
Я слаба в логике.
Well,
because I'm not very good at logic.
well,
Когда мы говорим,
we'll talk to the Oracle. She's a lovely human being. I'm so very fortunate to be married to her. Okay, so why is it true if something has parts, it cannot be one thing which truly exists?
когда мы говорим, что что-либо существует на самом деле,
When we say that something actually or truly exists,
мы имеем в виду, что оно существует независимо от своих частей.
we mean that it exists independently of its parts.
Но так не может быть никогда,
But it can never be so,
потому что мы воспринимаем что-либо, только воспринимая его части.
because we perceive something only by perceiving its parts.
Наши глаза скользят вокруг по основным частям объекта,
Our eyes glance around at the main parts of the object,
и затем наш ум сопоставляет эту информацию в один целый объект.
and then our mind
Может быть ни одного объекта,
collects all this information into one whole object, and there can't be any single object
который существовал бы каким-либо иным образом.
there can't be a single object that exists in any other way.
Right.
Следовательно, ни один объект не может существовать на самом деле.
And that's why no object can really or truly exist.
Right. So it's comfortable to think of things as self-existent. It's an excuse for things happening in your life. But you have to remember they aren't. They're coming from your karma, period. So you never think it's my karma, but you think of the how and the why. You think of the fact that the past is your present, the present is your future. If you find yourself thinking about that all day, you're going to make great progress on the path. Okay, number 18. The short and sweet here. In the section of the commentary known as the text of Maitreya, a debater comes and argues that Maitreya has no state of mind aspiring to fill his own needs, and so he has written the Ornament of Realization only for the sake of others. Perhaps the debater assumes Maitreya is already a Buddha. If he does assume this, what mistake has he made? Well, that's 18. Daria.
Yeah, there are not mistake here because there was simply a mix of secret and open teaching.
Right.
Open teaching told about Maitreya. It will be Buddha. Maitreya, it will be Buddha. But secret teaching says Maitreya, it now Buddha.
Frankly, I don't know how this fits into our class. That's always surprised me when I teach that part. It seems like it was thrown in. But the important thing is when you're teaching, or if you get confused with the teaching, it may be that the teacher is mixing open and secret teachings, which is not appropriate. So that may be the lesson to learn from this. Okay, number 19, that's Katerina. Last question. Pretty simple. The 8th century master Dharmakirti, in his root text on Buddhist logic, says that 2 elements must be present for Tantra to work. Name the 2 elements.
И первый элемент, что тантра или алмазный путь должна быть произнесена человеком или учителем с очень высокими духовными способностями.
The first element or part is that Tantra should be pronounced by person of exceptional spiritual power.
Что
Right.
этот человек должен вести очень высоконравственный образ жизни, очень чистый образ жизни и соблюдать очень хорошо одетые этические принципы.
And the second part is that this person should practice his vows and lead a very ethical, pure way of life.
Right. Good. Now there's one small problem. We didn't record this. Oh, I'm not recording it. You guys are. Yay, it's not my fault. Good. Okay. Okay. Well, what's a good deadline for finishing your classwork and getting the final in? What do you think? End of this month? Is that too short a time? So the end of this month, it's what? It's the 5th today. So by the end of this month, if you're taking the course for credit, you need to have your final and all your homeworks and quizzes in and your meditation time. Okay? Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks with my friend and getting them to Britain. So I don't know when we can start class 3. As soon as I know, I will let Svetlana know, and we'll arrange to have the course class days set up. I'm sorry we can't set a date now, but I just don't know. And if I'm traveling to Britain, it's going to be difficult to teach because of all the responsibilities I'll have. So I will let you know as soon as possible. I thank you all for the opportunity to teach this. I thank the translators for putting up with my rapid speech. I'm really very impressed with the translator. So.
Thank you, dear Sumati.
You're welcome. Let's dedicate. In all my lives, may I never live apart from my perfect lamas. May I bask in the glory of the Dharma. May I fulfill perfectly every level and path and reach then quickly the place where I become myself, one who holds the diamond. O Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, please listen to what I now say. Just as all the previous Sugatas generated the mind of enlightenment and practiced in accordance with the Bodhisattva precepts, so shall I too, in order to benefit all that lives, give birth to bodhicitta and follow its precepts. Thank you very much for the opportunity to teach you. I look forward to class 3, course 3. It's on meditation. It's a lovely course, a really beautiful course. I look forward to teaching that. And I will let you know as soon as I can when we'll set those dates up. Okay. I love you all. Take care. And thanks again, Natalia, for putting up with my speech. And thank you, Gina, for doing the recording. And thank you, everybody else that I can't. Alla, Rubenstein. Thanks, and thank all of you. Gina, your smile just lights me up. I love your smile. Gives me great joy. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Спасибо, будьте здоровы.
Да, Спасибо огромное. Простите, если что, слишком были быстрыми. Спасибо огромное.
Мы сегодня все в ударе были. Да, но с нашими я выключу, с нашими комментариями.